Hi, my name is Hannah Miller, and for today's devotional, I will be talking about a lot of transition and change and the challenges it brings. Currently, I am the handbell director at the church. I'm also involved in the music ministry, and I originally started at the church just going with family, and I was a former youth member. One of the first things that I was asked to talk about was to talk about a time when I did something new. I feel like I could list off quite a few different things, mainly because I'm involved in music. And when you're involved in music, you're asked to try out a lot of different things, whether it be new music, working with new people, going to new places, really throwing yourself into new communities over and over again. I've had to do that a lot recently with college. I just started over at Sac State, and that's always been a challenge on its own. I could talk a lot about the new job I just got. Well, it's not new anymore, but felt very new when I started. I work over at the Starbucks in town, and that was hard. It wasn't like music, it was a completely different skill set that I didn't know I would have to figure out. I could talk about me starting to paint over COVID. That was a new hobby that I had no past experience with, and I had to find a lot of grace with myself and a lot of patience for my mistakes. But I think what I'm going to talk about is instead something that I had experienced a lot with the church. So, a change that I felt that I had to really throw myself into in church was growing up as a general thing. I'm one of the few youth members from my original youth group that still is really involved in the church. And with that comes kind of this kind of nostalgia, this kind of sadness that was really hard for me to kind of like navigate. It was I had come to know the church as a place where I came to commune and play with others and hang out with others and spend really good quality time with others. And as I moved through high school, I watched friends come and go. I watched my environment kind of changed. I watched my responsibilities change. I watched my expectations change. And I watched my relationship, especially with leadership and what leadership looked like for me, change. And that was especially difficult. I remember I used to have a laundry list in my head of the friends that I used to see consistently at church, and while I still keep in contact with them, I it was different every time. Some of you know the Johnsons, some of you know the Pollocks, some of you know the brothers, and the most recent change we have is with Pastor Kathy leaving. And I know I was asked to talk about a separate thing that maybe probably doesn't have anything to do with the church, but can't stop thinking about it. I watch people leave all the time, and with each new person that leaves, it has its own kind of separate challenges for myself. Some of those challenges include what I do with my free time while I'm at church. Maybe I don't hang out in the kitchen anymore and get coffee with a specific person, but maybe I find time to go talk to someone new. Maybe I'm a little too hard on myself for not handling things as well when new people leave, but that's also a challenge in finding forgiveness for myself for letting myself grieve the space they left. I know I'm going to feel a huge space gone, like I've always felt when people leave. I always look at where they sit, I look at what they would say. It's like I can hear their voices in the congregation with me and the harmonies that they would sing and the little isms that they all have. Maybe I can hear their kids even when they're not there. Maybe they're who I would talk to at fellowship. Maybe they're who I would go to for friends when I didn't have anyone. And it's finding ways to connect with those people now that they're gone, but it's also finding ways to fill the space and find balance and community at church again. I think another challenge that I thought was like especially hard was just I felt like I wasn't allowed to be sad about it all. Like it was too late. Nothing was in particular going to change. I'd watch my friends go off to college. I'd watch them move. I'd watch them kind of distance themselves to like figure themselves out. And I was also trying to do that, but it never stopped me from missing them. And I think it was just letting myself feel all the emotions, whether it be when I was at church and I noticed they weren't there, or whether it was at home, whether it was in the car, to just be like, this place isn't exactly the same. And part of me really is really hurt by that. Part of me is really upset by that. Part of me misses that. Part of me feels like I'm not allowed to miss that because change is inevitable and I know all these things, but it doesn't matter. So we have to figure it out. And a lot of like my own personal development has been figuring out how to live with the loss and the renewal at the same time. And that's kind of like my hope in general for like moving forward with this new pastor. I was really excited when I'd heard about him, when I had heard that we were getting a new pastor, because for me, change is something that I've kind of had to like learn to live with myself. And in a lot of ways, when I get to see change, like while it's scary, it gets to be really exciting. Like I love meeting new people. I really do. It just also is really hard when it comes with, I don't know, with the expense. It comes at the loss of someone that like you love and you spend time with. And for me, I grew up with Kathy. Similar to all my other friends, like I grew up with them. I was raised in a way in which I had known them to be like pillars of my life, and then I've had to like reimagine the pillars of my life and just how sturdy they are and whether or not they should be and whether or not they should be malleable, and find space for missing them. I think my biggest hope for when this new person comes in is that they are just so absolutely welcomed into this space. I think if we can learn anything about my experiences, Kathy's experiences, and anyone who has been to the church's experience, is it makes a huge difference to feel welcome. It makes a huge difference to feel like you have a place in someone's life. And I was actually just talking to Pastor Dawn about this when she had first arrived, but Kathy has a fantastic way of making you feel like you belong when you first get somewhere. There's not a moment she forgets about you. And I would be lying if I said that I don't try to do that everywhere I go now. And I've been trying to figure out who I got it from, but I think I figured it out. It matters to me too much to watch new people come into new environments and watch communities grow, and to make sure that the people who are there, it is our responsibility to get to know them as much as it is theirs to get to know us. And I hope that we give them the exact same kind of welcome that Kathy would want from us, and we're able to that we're able to absolutely embrace this change. That we are nothing but happy to see him here, but also be able to hold the space for grieving what we used to have. Because the church isn't Kathy. The church is not this steadfast idea of who was in the congregation or who helps with the coffee in the morning. And it's not all these things. The church is made up of an amazing community that decides to live on and build and be in community with each other regardless of who's at the helm of it. And it's been amazing to be on the ship with so many people, and some will come and some will go, and it's been amazing to watch someone be at the helm of it for so long as well. And they have absolutely shaped who I am as a person. And it's going to be hard, and I'm going to miss her, and at this point I am rambling, but this is something new, and I think it's going to be an absolute joy figuring it out, and I hope everyone else enjoys it as well. I hope everyone gives it their best shot. I hope everyone gets a chance to create new traditions and create new families and new memories in this church, in this new space with its new paint and its new floor and the new families that get to come through every single weekend. And we all get to marvel at it 30 years from now too. So, thank you everyone for listening. And I have no idea how long these things are supposed to be, but I hope I hope I hope this was fun to listen to, and I hope that everyone has a really good day.